He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, everybody. Mark Levin here. It's hour 2. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. Many of you listening to this program, you're in your cars, you're at home preparing dinner, eating dinner. Maybe you're working late in your office. Maybe you're just sitting back, having a cigar, listening to the program, wherever you are. Welcome and thank you for being here. But there's this battle going on for the future of the nation. It's a battle for the future of the nation. And there are people, I mean, this affects you. It affects your children. It affects it all. How many times have you talked to a coworker or a family member? You sit down you get, over the weekend with a few people, and they're talking, where's the country headed? What can we do? This is why I take the time to parse these events, to unravel them. Things that are going on in Washington. There's way too much power there. And yet, if we don't pay attention to it, we're going to be affected. I mean, everything from what goes on in your kitchen, in your bathroom, in your automobile, your health care, your pension, they've got their hands on everything. And they're hoping that you're going to become so frustrated and so dispirited that you're going to just stop paying attention. I'm not prepared to surrender, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not prepared to give in to this. Now, we get these articles. They're actually, one regurgitates the next, but here's an example in the Washington Compost. Tear down this icon. Why the GOP has to get over Ronald Reagan. I really don't even need to read beyond the headline, because I know we're dealing with a person with a very limited intelligence span, very limited understanding of conservatism, very limited understanding of what's happened in this country. And the person who wrote this, Jennifer Rubin, was a Democrat attorney working in Hollywood. She missed the entire Reagan election and the Reagan presidency, and now she's lecturing us. Get over Reagan. Okay, well, who should we embrace? Well, some of these new Republican governors, Let's see, she lists them here. Like Bob McDonnell in Virginia, who increased taxes, by the way. I live here. The biggest tax increaser in Virginia history. Embrace him. Or, Chris Christie over there in New Jersey. Mr. Open Borders, Mr. Pro-Mosque, Mr. Controversial Appointments, Mr. Green Energy, Mr. Illegal Alien. Oh, him. Yes, embrace him. He's the future. Or Scott Walker. Now, she throws Scott Walker in. She can't even discern the difference between these governors, among these governors. Susana Martinez. I bet you she doesn't know 10 things Susana Martinez has done, although she'll run to Google right now. And others. They have to stop defending the traditional GOP, Tea Party leaders, conservative PACs, right-wing blogs, radio talk show hosts, and the candidates they inspired and supported, generated enormous excitement and emphasized the party's roots in fiscal conservatism. However, together with veterans of the Reagan years, this is an attack on me, of course, they also popularized more strident language, vilifying same-sex marriage and labeling the president a socialist. Oh, don't do that. And inflexible commitments, balance the budget in 10 years, or how about 5, making it tougher for even skilled candidates to win outside of staunchly conservative states. Last time I checked, we took the House in 2010 because we went conservative. That's my understanding, that's my recollection. Last time I checked, we've lost the presidency repeatedly because we haven't gone conservative. The last 2 cycles. I mean, it's just Hard to stomach, but they all sound like they misquote Edmund Burke, or they quote him but take him out of context because they have no comprehension of Edmund Burke. None. If I've asked them, what 5 things did Edmund Burke write? Now, they'll Google it now. They have no idea what Edmund Burke wrote. None. How about John Locke? Do you even understand? Have you read what John Locke wrote? How about the framers? Other than naming maybe 10 of them. Do you know anything about them? They don't know anything about this stuff. Nothing. So she trashes Jim DeMint, the Heritage Foundation. She trashes a number of us with her more nebulous references. Time to get over Reagan. We got to figure out how to be problem solvers, party builders, not groundskeepers for a Reagan monument, you see. McDonnell, a Virginia conservative favorite for his first 3 years in office, has been under siege in recent months for what national conservatives label heresy, a plan to solve Virginia's historic transportation problems by, among other things, raising the sales tax. By, among other things, the car tax, the sales tax, the gasoline tax, all kinds of taxes. And you see her mindset? It's the old Democrat Hollywood mindset, which is where she's from. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But she hasn't matured in her thinking. She's stuck. He's not going to solve the road problem, quote unquote. There's always going to be a road problem, quote unquote. And he's not going to solve it either. Let's see, what else? Robert Portman endorsing gay marriage while social conservatives threaten to bolt the party. She doesn't understand. There are people who, let me explain it this way, who believe in certain things that the religion teaches them. Like, the Catholic Church. Like, Orthodox Judaism. Like, Islam. And others who are opposed to same-sex marriage. It's not just a political issue or a voting issue. It's a moral issue and a belief system. So they don't just surrender these things because somebody said they should over there at the Washington Compost, somebody who missed the entire Reagan era and now tells us to put it behind us. Now, let me explain this Reagan era. What is the Reagan era? What do we mean when we talk about the Reagan era? The most successful Republican president in modern history. So we should get over that and embrace what? Bob McDonnell, tax increases, Chris Christie, all those things I just talked about. Oh, and gun control too. You see, these pseudo-conservatives, these phonies, they sound like really Barack Obama. Stop clinging to your values. Stop clinging to your principles. Stop clinging to the Constitution. The New Deal is here and it's here to stay. They don't even recognize that the New Deal is imploding all around us. It's driving the nation into bankruptcy. We've got the New Deal and Obama's New Deal. Layer upon layer of taxes, of spending, of government programs and regulations. These are people who don't live in the real world. Obamacare. Give it up, she says. Stop fighting it. You're not going to repeal it. One Congress votes it in, and it's here forever. This is why the left is so successful, ladies and gentlemen. They never give up. They fought for universal government-run top-down health care for 100 years. It was a notion imported by the progressives into this country from Europe. They've been at it and at it and at it. They never took no for an answer. They never took election defeats for an answer. They win one election. With Obama, take the House and the Senate. They stick it in place. Not a single Republican vote. The American people hate it, and the more it's instituted, they hate it more, and we're being told to give it up. Surrender. Be done with it. They don't mean get over Ronald Reagan. They mean get over liberty. Get over private sector capitalism. Get over your traditions. In other words, surrender. Because big government utopian statism is inevitable. That's what they believe, and that's what they're preaching. It's amazing. We hold up Churchill. He rejected the inevitability of Hitler. We hold up Thatcher. She rejected the inevitability of socialism dragging down Britain. We hold up Reagan. He rejected the inevitability of the Soviet Union and the decline of the American people under Jimmy Carter. That's why they're great people, and that's why, Jennifer, we're never going to get over them. You need to get over yourself. You point to governors. Many of these governors are wonderful men and women, but I'm going to tell you a little secret, ladies and gentlemen. 20, 30, 40 years from now, 99.9% of them won't be remembered. Yet Reagan will be remembered. Why is that? Why is that? Because when it comes to the rest of us and our national lives, these governors are important. But they haven't reached the point of being effective on a scale that's going to change the course of history like it needs to be changed. It's not a put down. I hope some of them do rise to that level in elected office and in other ways. But they haven't yet. Perhaps they will. We need some of them. But this is more of the same. I saw it in 1976 with the Ford forces, with the Bush forces. It's more of the same thing. Over and over and over again. We have to fight these battles. And I really get tired of people who've contributed absolutely zero to the conservative movement, who missed, I mean they're mature adults, and they missed the Reagan elections and the Reagan presidency because they were busy doing other things, or they were liberal Democrats, and now they lecture us. We old Reagan guys, you see, who worked in the 76 and 80 campaigns and worked for Reagan, got to get over ourselves. We've got to listen to Jennifer Rubin. She knows the way forward. It's Chris Christie. It's Susanna Martinez. And by the way, look at the way they create these straw men. There are a number of wonderful young politicians who I can and do support. But what does that have to do with getting over Reagan? And what she really means is getting over the Constitution and getting over capitalism and getting over conservatism. Which brings me to my final point, at least for now, on this issue. A friend of mine today sent me an email. It's a dear, dear friend of mine. He says to me, I've noticed something. The establishment Republicans and their supporters, they're setting up these groups, and they keep putting the word conservative in them. It started with Rove, and now there's several others. The left-wing guy who's the chairman or whatever, the founder of Facebook, he starts a pro-open borders group, and he puts the word conservative in the title. We now have a group that's out there defending Obamacare. They put conservative in the name of the group. And also the Conservative Political Action Committee, more and more it's been infiltrated, if you will, or taken over by more moderate Republican forces, Bush forces, Al Cardenas, among others. Well, you worked for Reagan, you know. Yeah, well, so what? And the point is this. It's a very interesting thing that's going on. The effort to dumb down conservatism, to change the language of conservatism, to steal the word, to apply it to other things. It's as devious as the Marxist left, but it's being done by the rhinos. And I see it all around me. My friend brought it to my attention. I said, you're absolutely right. They condemn it and those who promote it, and yet they embrace it and pretend they support it. This is why it's important to talk about these things if you have a microphone, and not just day in and day out bang your head against the wall about the media and Obama. Oh, we deal with that too, obviously, and I'm going to do more of that today. But you got to dig deeper, and you have to be more substantive. You got to be willing to put it all on the line, particularly when the country is facing the most perilous time in my lifetime. The Democrat Party is hard left. It's radical left now. But George McGovern has now been completed with Barack Obama. The Republican Party has done exactly what this writer for the Washington Compost has said. It has distanced itself from its most successful president. It's not a question of putting Reagan behind us. They've already done that. And we're left with Boehner, Cantor, this one and that one, and Lindsey Graham and McCain. And that's supposed to be the future. It's not the future. On one other footnote, she says in there, we need people who know how to communicate, fresh faces. You need people who know how to communicate. I thought one of the titles that Reagan was given was the Great Communicator. These people can't even get their thinking straight. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.